Well, there it was, folks. The first game is now in the books. I have to say that was a very enjoyable game. Uh, Initial thoughts from you?
Oh yeah, game of the year.
Game of the year. Wow. I don't know if I'd come to that conclusion. Honestly, I watched a game last week that was pretty good as well. Wasn't an NFL game, but that was a pretty good game too. Um, Yeah, no, I have to say my first reaction is that I think one of the things I pointed out in the preview became like completely the opposite of what I said I thought would happen, which was that I thought the Buccaneers, and I guess it was sort of me leaning on Brady more, would
Mhm.
be able to hold on to the ball and not possess it, not have ugly bad turnovers, and Brady really wasn't his fault in terms of turning the ball over. But they had three like real turnovers. They had 110.5, which doesn't really count. But basically, that all could be blamed on other guys on the other at other positions on the offensive side of the ball. The fact
Mhm.
that the turnover margin at the end of the game was 4-1 in favor of Dallas, and they still lost, just shows how great of a team Tampa Bay truly is. Because they gave them Tampa Bay basically gave them every shot um, to win this game they possibly could, and they still didn't do it. And that doesn't mean that Dallas is blame free either, even though I'm putting most of the onus on Tampa Bay immediately here.
Mhm.
That's just where like I want to start.
Uh, yeah, Dallas really impressed me with what they did. I mean, I had them high up in my power rankings to start the season, but I think that was just because of where the talent was, and I was expecting to drop them like by the time we got to our next one. Uh, Dak looks great. I mean, coming out of the gate a little bit there at the start, I was like, oh, he doesn't look like he's fully back yet. He looked a little slow with his throwing motion, looked like he was throwing a ball that weighed like 50 pounds. But throughout the game, he got warmed up more, got going. Really liked what I saw from him. I mean, getting 400 yards back in his game or in his game bag is wild. I'm expecting him to just crush the yardage record now because I was expecting it last season, and now he actually looks like he could do it.
Dude, I filled out basically my entire fantasy team before I picked up Dak, and I could not be any happier right now after what I just saw from him at least. Um, Another guy to point out on that side of the ball, you know, the receivers there, obviously great depth. I mean, both of these teams receivers are awesome. Guy I pointed out at the beginning of the preseason though, Cedric Wilson actually getting some significant snaps,
Mhm.
even though he's still like obviously the number 4 receiver. I was surprised how much of a role he played. Um, Zeke Elliott, I mentioned this to you texting during the game. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not impressed really with him running the ball. There's still a lot of things that I'm like, geez, what are you doing while you're running the ball? But pass protection, man. If they're a
Mhm.
pass favored team, like which I'm cool with, um, I'm never going to be one to say that you should not throw the ball as much as they did. I think that that's the right decision, especially for this team. But yeah, he doesn't look great in the run game, but also I like him in pass protection. And then those two back sets with Pollard in motion, also really good. I enjoyed that a lot too. Um,
Yeah. Zeke's the highest paid fullback in the NFL right now after that game. It just that looks like the position he should be playing. And like I texted you during the game, I think the Cowboys should trade Zeke for a corner because getting help in that secondary is going to help them win games more than Zeke's excellent pass protection. I mean, send a seventh round pick over to the Titans for Jeremy McNichols if you want a running back that's good in pass protection and you're not paying that guy $70 million to be good at pass protection and not good at all in the run game.
yeah, they're. I completely agree with you. Really, I mean, I've been hating on Zeke all off season. I probably don't need to give him anything else really at this point. But I mean, I loved him as a rookie too, so it's so weird. But with that being said, we need to hit on this because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Um, Thank you to the man who actually really the guy in our comment section who's been saying that Dan Quinn is going to change this defense. Honestly, I don't know if it's the amount that you were thinking it was as a Dallas fan. I mean, I think you were a little biased there,
Mhm.
but with that being said, I think the defense looked a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Holding the Bucks to 31. That's very impressive. And being able to force 4 turnovers, also very impressive. That's the really important part. On the other side of the ball, Kellen Mond, or not Kellen Mond, we've talked about him all offseason.
Dylan Moore.
Kellen Moore calling a great game for
Hmm.
Dallas's offense. Absolutely loved basically everything they did. And, the only guy that I really have to think this comes back to, because I don't think it's the offensive coordinator making these decisions. If Dallas went for it on 4th down once out of like 3 times, I thought they should have went for it on 4th down and converted it, that could change the game. Along with the fact that this wouldn't have affected the outcome of the game tonight because they ended up settling for a field goal on the following drive. But I thought they should have went for 2 after they scored a touchdown to make it a 3-point game before the try. Because then if you get the 2, you're down 1, and you're facing one of the best offenses in the league, you should actually expect them to do well. Meaning if they put 7 points on the board again, it's still a 1-possession game and an 8-point game if you cut it to 1 there. That's really, really nitpicky. But as opposed to the 4th down stuff, where I thought there were 3 really manageable 4th downs, I just think Mike McCarthy's philosophy is not new age or modern enough to actually want to do that. But I definitely think picking up one of those could have actually won Dallas this game. And Dallas was a lot closer than we talked about because of the turnovers. And if they just did that, they may have actually won this game.
Yeah, Dallas has 2 great coordinators. I mean, I already thought Kellen Moore was a good coordinator before this game, but seeing Dan Quinn operate, just full-time coordinator now, not having to worry about head coaching duties. He's a great coordinator. He was a great coordinator before he was the head coach of the Falcons, too. He's doing a lot with a little with what Dallas has on the defensive side of the ball. I loved Osa Odigizua and how they used him. Very high on him before the draft, so nice to see him showing out. But yeah, Mike McCarthy, I don't want to call him a clown, but it's like you got a clown running a law firm, basically. Like you got all these lawyers here that are doing the right thing that they need to do, but then you got Mike McCarthy who's in charge of like the day to day. It's like, yeah, dude, you can't. You're a clown. You don't know how to run a law firm, and it just sucks that the main thing that Mike McCarthy, like, he's some influence on the offense, some influence on the defense. He, like, the major thing for him is going for it on 4th down or not, and then calling timeouts. And that might be the one thing that kills the Cowboys. Not as to an extent that Anthony Lynn did with the Chargers, but just seeing, and I completely agree with you, not going for it on 4th down, being that conservative when the modern NFL now, it's just, yeah, go for it on 4th down whenever you can. If you're in the red zone, you do not kick a field goal there unless it's a 1-score game.
Yeah.
You always go for it, and it just seems like Mike McCarthy has this like 2009 mindset to it of like, well, we're just gonna get any points we can get. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it is now. You go for it when you can go for it.
The other, yeah, I mean, we're on the same page completely.
Mhm.
There's nothing to argue about there. I don't know if I'm ready to put Dan Quinn on the great coach pedestal.
No, he's good. I didn't say he was great. I said he
Okay.
was good.
Okay. Yeah, no, but I'd no, but on the other hand, I actually would put Kellen Moore on that like great coach pedestal. I like
I love
he
his
should be
philosophy.
a head coach. He should be the head coach
Mhm.
of this team. That would mean that there would have to be more workarounds to try to figure out some situational stuff. Probably some other like side assistant head coaches type thing to take some nerve off him. We all know that's not going to happen, but that's honestly what I truly believe should be the case. And when he gets stolen away from them, it's going to suck for the Cowboys. With that being said, I think that, I mean, does this really change like what you? I don't know if this game changes what I actually thought of either of these teams. I mean, I guess if the Cowboys came out on top, like I'd almost have to, I'd be obligated to like say they're better. But even if they did, just with how this game played out, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't think it actually changes much of my opinion on these teams.
No, I got more or less from what I was expecting from the Cowboys. Again, I'm gonna reiterate, their defense was better than what I thought it was going to be. So I'll give them the thumbs up for that. So that's just better. I think I would give them props for that and rank them a little bit higher because of their defensive performance. But Tampa, they're not moving at all for where, like, except for the sloppy turnovers. But I mean, one of them was a fumble by Rojo, who got banished to the shadow realm after that fumble and did not see the field again after that. And then half-ending interception, and then I mean that interception on the screen was. I mean, Brady just saw so many number sevens, he didn't know what to do there. So I can understand that. Uh, and then another interception for that too. But I mean, I'm gonna expect Tom Brady's arm. Like, I shouldn't say I'm going to expect Tom Brady to turn over the ball. I don't. But him being that old now, wear and tear on his arm, I'm gonna expect some sloppy interceptions from time to time for him.
But none of them
But
were on him.
no,
That's the thing. Is like it was all on
and
the
then the one that should
sloppiness of
have
the
been
other
on him,
guys.
the one that should have been on him, Leonard Fournette goes up and high points it on Micah Parsons, and
Well,
it's like that was that play was wild, and it just shows that whenever Brady beats a QB in the Super Bowl, he absorbs their essence. That's why he didn't want to beat Eli and Nick Foles because he would have gotten worse.
well, I don't even know what made him fall over on that play. He just started falling
Old,
for no reason. Yeah,
he's
I know.
old, bad hips, dude.
It's literally the fact that he's old. It's actually funny that you can say about that about a professional athlete. But no, I mean, it comes back to the point we talked about in the offseason. Like, what are we questioning about Micah Parsons? Like, he looks great against the run. He can really rush the passer. Can he cover anybody? Yeah, that's a play that it feels like you got to make in that moment, and let a running back just go up and take care of him. Also, since we're talking about Leonard Fournette kind of right now, I love that all those LSU guys still wear their shoulder pads from LSU, and
Yeah.
when their jersey gets ripped up, you can see the colors from the LSU shoulder pads. That's so funny. Yeah. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to hit on with the Cowboys. Um, but it's I think it's kind of passing me by now. We didn't see Jalen
Greg the
Darden at
leg.
all.
Greg the leg. He was kind of poor to start it out, and I mean I tweeted from our Twitter like, yeah, if this comes down to a field goal, Greg's gonna shank it, and I was happy I was wrong because I seriously thought, I'm like, if it's anything further than like 40 yards out, and even then, if it's anything further than 40 yards out, he's gonna miss it. But
Yeah.
he didn't, so I'll give him props for that. Uh, but he had me worried there on that last drive. I'm like, they're not going to be able to convert it. He's going to have to kick the field goal. But he made it. I mean, it's all for naught in the end. I mean, Cowboys still lost, but he had a little nice redemption there. I also hate that Mike McCarthy kicked the 60-yard field goal there. To let's give Brady, who in multiple situations from the spot on the field with this amount of time on the clock has scored touchdowns.
See,
Uh, I just didn't like it.
this is another spot where it's like my thought process is not even like modern in thinking. It's like future thinking, because my thought process for that is it's like 4th and 20. We get like 20 yards off a punt if it goes into the end zone for a touchback or something stupid. We're not going to hit this field goal because it's like a 60-yarder. Let's just call it what it is. In Tampa, like maybe if we were in Denver or something, and I'd feel a little bit better about it. But it's a 60-yard field goal in Tampa. Really, you don't see, like, if it's not in a dome or in Denver, like I said, we don't see 60-yarders at almost any other places. Like, really, those are the two situations where you can hit them. And it's like, this isn't going in. But there's 15 seconds left, and I don't want to be a wimp about this. They have no timeouts. The chances we just need, if we get back on defense, we need to play the sidelines, right? So let's throw a Hail Mary, because we're gonna chew up.
That's what
We're
I
gonna
would be in
chew up.
favor of too.
We're gonna chew up like 7 seconds off the clock throwing this Hail Mary, as opposed to like 4 on the field goal attempt, or 5 maybe. So we gain like 2 more seconds, and then all we have to do is protect the sideline and make the tackle inbounds. Like, literally let them catch the ball. As long as they don't get into the end zone or get out of bounds, you're good, because they don't have any timeouts. And the half is over at that point. So I mean, that's what I'd be in favor of. I think that even though you agree with me, I think that's like even like a
Oh, no,
futuristic
yeah,
idea. Like
there's
that's too far out there.
there's no way NFL coaches would go for that because then I just can't picture anyone maybe outside of Sean McVay. Even then, yeah, Cliff Kingsbury's dumb enough to do something like that. Like I say, it's dumb because the rest of the coaches in the league compared to him doing that. But Cliff Kingsbury just be like, yeah, let's just go for it here. Kyler, just sling it into the end zone there.
We got Hopkins.
Yeah, just throw it up to Nuke there. We'll get it.
Oh my gosh. Um, Man, you just completely made me lose my thought process just going off on Cliff Kingsbury.
We should talk about the Buccaneers now. We've been harping on the Cowboys.
Yeah,
So
no, I was gonna actually. Thank you for saying that. That was my next point. So Jalen Darden didn't even play. So I mean, bad call by me, I guess. I was not expecting him to just be sat down. Jaden Mickens, though, the guy that I basically compared to Jalen Darden, he killed it in the return game. That's the first thing. Second thing, I do want to point out they did run one jet sweep to Antonio Brown. I think they could utilize that a little bit more in their offense. But after seeing Antonio get it, I can't remember. Maybe they used it last season because I basically said that they used it like not at all last season. They may have used it sparingly, but I think they could still mix it into their offense even more. Just get to the edge a little bit more with all the weapons they have in the receiving core.
I was shocked with the amount of pre-snap motion and empty sets that Tampa Bay ran. It was wild. And I mean, Brady threw like 50 plus passes. That's ridiculous. Like, he's 44, first of all. And also, just, don't think, like, I've seen Brady in this modern of an offense where it's just this forward thinking of like, yeah, you'd want an athletic quarterback back there, but we're running these empty sets. We're getting pre-snap motion in, which I don't think Brady's ever had in his career.
Ooh, no. That's not true. You want to go back and just talk about these guys. Just this is basically why the Patriots had a fullback on roster. It was literally just to line a fullback up out wide at the start of the play and then motion him into the formation just so that they could get the man zone read before the play started. Now, if you're talking like that's not really the style I think you're talking
that's
in.
just to
but
help
they
them diagnose the D.
Yeah, they did do that in New England, which is one way of motion that they use. So just specificity. Sorry, I'm being picky still. I'm just really got into the game and now I'm about everything.
What else do I have written here about the Bucs? I took notes after the first half. Mike Evans, wide receiver 3. I mean, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be one guy in that Bucs offense or at least receivers, that's just gonna get buried. Like if there's no way Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Mike Evans can all have like a fantastic game. One of them's gonna have a bad one, and Mike Evans was the guy today. It was just funny to see on Twitter, like everyone overreacting and just being like, "Yeah, Scotty Miller's better than Mike Evans." I'm like, no, there's just gonna be a guy that does not get utilized, and Scotty Miller, also a guy that didn't get utilized.
I think Brady just likes more agility. Unless you're a tight end, like Gronk, he's cool with, but like in terms of receivers. He's just looking at the agility of guys. Like, I'd rather just have you get open rather than me have to throw you a ball that's like contested and you go make a play. That's just less of Brady's style. I mean, one time I could say that he kind of had that was Randy Moss, but when Randy Moss was going off in the 2007 season for the Patriots, it wasn't like 1998 Moss where he was jumping over guys to go make plays. He was running past everybody and Brady was putting the ball in the money. He was past the DB already. It wasn't him having to jump over anybody. It's just not really a part of Brady's, I don't know, like, I don't know, like his, the way he plays. I don't know. Sorry, can't think of a good word there, but that's why Wes Welker was like the number one receiver there for so long.
Yeah, it's not Brady's style, but Mike Evans will still finish the season with his 8th consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season because he just eats up those yards.
17 games.
Yeah. The Bucs running backs, I mean, like I said, Rojo got banished to the shadow realm after that fumble. Leonard Fournette kind of took over, but Giovanni Bernard, they actually have a third running back who is seeing snaps. They just don't have LaShawn McCoy there. It's like, yeah, we needed a third running back active, so you're going to be out here. They're actually using Gio Bernard, and that warms my heart so much.
Yeah, well, we had this discussion off the air the other day. I didn't feel like he was going to get signed to their roster to actually do what LaShawn McCoy did and go sit the bench, just because I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know, whatever reason, some inherent
He's
feeling.
younger and better.
Yeah,
He's younger and better.
I mean, that's kind of the case. Is
Not
really that he's
like I'm not
younger,
saying that
but
like 28 LaShawn McCoy and 28 Gio Bernard are the same. I'm not saying Gio Bernard at 28 is better than LaShawn McCoy at 28. I'm saying Gio Bernard now is better than LaShawn McCoy now.
yeah, and I mean, we had this discussion when we were talking about fantasy the other day, and that's what I mean. Don't want to harp on fantasy too much now because I really just want to focus on the game. But yeah, no, I mean, I feel like this backfield is going to stay this way all season, where it's like depending on the game, depending on the situation, that's how we're going to figure out which one of these RBs is in the game because they're all plenty
Mhm.
competent. Unlike the Baltimore Ravens backfield, but that's a discussion for another time.
Rojo should demand a trade to Baltimore after
I
this game.
fumbled once. I want to
And
go
you
to
sat me
Baltimore.
out the whole game. Send me to Baltimore.
Yeah. With that logic, Chris Godwin shouldn't have played the last drive, right?
Yeah, send me to LA.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. Um. Anything else on the Buccaneers really?
Antonio Brown looked awesome, at least when he was lining up against Anthony Brown. Uh, and that just, I think that's more of a knock on the lack of, well, both teams really had a lack of depth in the secondary. Once Tampa had a couple guys go down in their secondary, it was like, ooh, okay, guys. Praised them for having like a top two, top three roster. And they don't have a weakness anywhere really, except in that secondary depth.
It's literally why the Browns are in front of them in my power rankings. That's
Well,
literally
you
it.
also said tight end depth as well.
Uh, for the Buccaneers.
No, for the Browns. For the Browns. The Browns had better tight end depth and secondary depth, you said.
I don't know if I said that. That sounds really
No, you said
that
that.
one's
You
kind of
said
far.
that. You
That
said
one's
that. I'm saying it right here that you said that.
okay. At least you're willing to admit that I did say the secondary because yeah, I mean, and that's I'll actually say after tonight, seeing how closely the Cowboys just played with them, even though like I said, it was probably through a lot of lucky turnovers. I do feel better about not having the Buccaneers being the top team. Like if they came out and
Mhm.
just killed the Cowboys, like it wasn't even close, and they throttled them, then I may have like felt bad. But I'm okay. It's just every year everybody's just like, okay, they won the Super Bowl. It's hard to get off like the hype train of that team. Um,
Mhm.
when it's like you haven't seen them lose in what 10 months or something. It's very hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, I think I think that's basically everything for me.
Oh, I got one last thing.
Okay,
I loved what the Cowboys ran for their last play.
it's a good number.
When I saw, I thought they like had some old footage that like some old footage from a special teams play or whatever when they showed like and the Cowboys, valiant effort, and I'm like, Micah Parsons, Keanu Neal, Cedric Wilson, what's going on here? And then I see the form Jabril Cox, like, what are they running here? And then they line it up. It's like, oh, they just put all the athletes on the field. It's like we need everyone out there available for this lateral that they never even tried to get off.
Thought it was a good decision, but the
No, I
guys,
love the play.
yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Because I immediately saw, I was like, okay, kicks through the end zone. Dak isn't running onto the field. They've got something really screwy that they're about to put out on the field that we haven't seen before. I liked it seeing the personnel they had on the field. I hate when guys are not willing to lateral the ball earlier. They need to show people like in terms of actually practicing for like the final play situations. They need to just go through and like show rugby clips of just like how
Yeah.
like these guys do not hold on to the ball when the guy is tackling them. And
Hmm.
that's what half these guys do in these end of game situations. They wait until their knee is an inch from the ground to try to lateral it. And it's like you're not going to get it to your teammate once that happens. So yes, absolutely love the personnel, but this is like an every NFL team issue. They're not prepared for the situation,
Yeah.
honestly.
I don't know how like last play situation when you see a guy a yard away from you squaring up to hit you, you don't just go, all right, I need to get rid of this. And then he drives his helmet into your chest and you're still thinking, I don't have to get rid of this yet because I'm going to break this tackle. Like, I don't know what's going through guys' heads in that situation.
I have no idea either. But really, it's kind of just it just looks really it looks really bad, honestly.
Oh
But
yeah.
nobody's gonna say it because it's the last play of the game and it's desperation and the chances it works no matter what are yeah, you know, just all that stuff. Um, Good punting night, pretty good
Oh,
punting.
fantastic punting night.
I thought we should throw that in. The kicking game was kind of sus from one side, but yeah, punting game was pretty
Punting
clean.
was awesome.
Um, I have to say though, CD Lamb, all this hype in the offseason about him, I still think Amari Cooper is the number one receiver. That's the first note. Second
Hmm.
thing worth note, at least in my opinion, uh, if you watched CD in college, this guy was one of the most insane runners after the catch in college I've ever seen. Like,
Hmm.
really, there's not many guys close to him. And now in the NFL, he gets the ball in the open field a ton. Um, yeah, he's having trouble, man. He's not breaking many tackles in the open field, and it used to be like he'd make a catch at Oklahoma. He would make a catch, and then not, he would just not go down like at all. And he had so many opportunities in the open field tonight. And I think maybe on one punt return, you would sort of say that he shook one guy, but really, most of the night he had a ton of opportunities to shake guys, especially after the catch, and he just couldn't. That just shows the difference between the college game and the NFL game. It's just like, man, these guys who can consistently make people miss in the NFL, it is really impressive.
Yeah, your analysis was great there, but that wasn't CD Lamb. That was Jamar Chase wearing CD Lamb's jersey to get some practice in before Sunday. So, I mean, yeah, good breakdown, but wrong guy.
Yeah, I will say I had it after the first two passes he dropped. I had a tweet like ready, and I was like saying like basically the base concept was like, man, really he dropped the first two balls. And I was like, man, there's no reason to even send this tweet because he's gonna be fine. He'll be fine. He'll make more plays later in the game, and he did. So, I mean, it's all good. Um, I guess in the end, the team we thought would win this game won this game. It was a
We're
little
both 1 and
closer,
0. We're
little
both
close.
1 and 0.
Yes, little closer than we expected. I'm gonna blame it completely on turnovers. Maybe you can blame it on something else. I don't.
You corrupt my thoughts. So, yeah, I think you were the first one to say that you had Tampa Bay winning this one, so that's why I or you had it being a
Yeah.
blowout, so that's why I just repeated it.
Oh, no, I mean, I
Anytime I'm
really,
wrong, it's not my fault.
I really wonder what the game would have looked like if Tampa Bay only turned the ball over like once. Like, what's the final score if they only turn the ball over once? I think it is probably a multi-possession game at the end of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Cowboys offense and what their defense showed and like like Collinsworth said, they don't play a team that was in the playoffs last season. Uh this game and then week 11 is the next game that they play a team that was in the playoffs last season. And that's the football team.
Yeah.
So like they have the offense that could just go score for score and a defense that has shown like yeah we can get a stop or two like we can capitalize off sloppiness on offense from teams and if you're playing garbage teams like the Giants and the Eagles and you have a defense that can do the bare minimum and just capitalize off those teams you're going to win football games and that's more than what I was expecting from their defense because I just thought it would be like yeah Dallas is going to be in games that end up being like 53-50 because they just have to go score for score for score with teams in order to win it.
Yeah.
It does look like Dak's gonna have to throw the ball 50 plus times every week. Uh, but the defense can like stop teams. They showed that, and I'm happy to see that.
I don't know. I don't know how people interpret it. I think it really is going to be about not Dan Quinn making it so that this team is like a consistent force in terms of being like, okay, we have you at first down and then we stop you three times to get you to fourth down. I really think that this team has enough offensive firepower where if they can do uh half of what they did tonight, because 4 turnovers, they get 2 turnovers against almost any team, they're gonna win the game they play. Like, and that's including playoff teams. If they can win a turnover battle, like if they can win the turnover battle in a game because of their offense, um, I would say that they have in like they're probably able to beat like 24 out of 32 teams in the league if they win the turnover battle, just because their offense is so potent, and then like the turnover is so huge in terms of stopping the other team from getting points and turning the points into your own points. I mean, that's usually the case for any team you talk about, but I feel like it's even more so for this team.
Yeah. Uh, really looking forward to that Week 11 matchup then between them and the football team, because that's two teams built completely different, and it's gonna be very very fun to see how they match up.
Yeah, they've got.
And
Yeah, and the other matchup, I know because I was looking at this one because it's in December, because I was looking through a lot of the games in December. They have it scheduled for Sunday Night Football Week 16, I think. So I mean, that's like that's so far into the future that that's usually a big flex slot. But almost even looking ahead that far, that feels like a game that should stay in that slot. It's an NFC East matchup, and neither of us see the Eagles or Giants being in contention in that division. So that should be a really good matchup as well. Both of those games this year are going to be very exciting between Dallas and Washington.
and every game that Tampa plays in will be exciting too, because Tom Brady is just mad at the world for some reason. Like, I don't know why he's still mad. Just seems like this whole narrative is like, yeah, Tom's mad and he's coming for another. It's like, this dude's been mad since before I was born. Like, what's he mad at?
I I have to say, I want to pick out one more play to touch on.
Yeah.
The deep ball to Antonio Brown I was just like, wow, man, 44, and we're still doing that. I know that. I mean, first off, it's a great play by Antonio to get basically as open as he was. I was just like, man, we're still able to do that. It's just wild.
Yeah, and one other play that I want to touch on, the Gronk, Marcus Lawrence on Gronk play where he got the touchdown there, and they pointed out, it's like, look at the chemistry between these two. I'm like, I was seeing that like when I was 10.
I kind of agreed with you. I was like,
Like,
why are they acting like this is like the most
why is
intelligent
this?
thing in the it's a block
Because Gronk's so dumb.
it's a block
They're
and
just
release. Like it's not a complex NFL concept, especially from an empty set where the tight end is literally the only one who could protect, like be
well,
extra protection. It was like, yeah, block and release.
I thought the joke. I'm just like, it's Gronk's so dumb. He like figured this out, and then Collinsworth goes, he's a wild guy, but he isn't dumb. I'm like, oh my god, he just said it. He's like, yeah, this is wild because Gronk is so stupid.
Gronk is so intelligent in terms of actually having the persona for himself play off so much, just that like people actually think that he's like an idiot. Dude, everything he does is like the greatest marketing scheme ever. He's one of the best marketers in the world. He is not a dumb guy at all. But anytime you put a camera in front of him, he will act like it, which is the most intelligent thing in the world in terms of marketing. He is not. There's not one
Oh
part
no.
of me that thinks he is actually dumb. But no, like you said, with somebody like Chris Collinsworth who sees him, he's not going to say it. But I think somewhere in his mind, he's actually like, this guy's kind of weird. Like,
He did something smart there. That's
he's
wild.
got a screw loose. Like, no, because honestly, if he was truly like as dumb as he acts, I know this may be too far to say this, but if he's truly as dumb as he acts, he would have at least gotten in trouble with the law once in his career. He never has gotten in trouble once. So how like he's not actually dumb. That's all I'm saying.
Is that how we're gonna end this? Gronk isn't dumb.
Man, I didn't think I swear to you, I did not think we'd go this long. Like, I just think we're both so excited that football's back, and there's so many. It's one game, but there's just so many things to pick
It was
out
a
and be
great
excited
game
for.
too.
Yeah,
Like, I
no.
don't think we're gonna go this long when we talk about uh, Ravens, uh,
We got Sunday.
Raiders.
We got Sunday night to see because we will have an individual one for Rams Bears, and I really I really don't expect that one to be as long.
Andy Dalton looked terrible.
And actually, we'll probably have a preview for that one as well. So yeah, no, this may actually even turn into a full episode. Good lord. Yeah, we probably should get out of here. Did we cover everything you wanted to? I mean, probably not, but we probably should just like kill it, right?
Yeah, I think we should cut this here.